My question relates to the fact that I'm pretty much at a loss right now as to what to think in terms of USC and what is going to have players make players. What's the motivation for players to go to USC? We talk about winning as everything, and we haven't been a winner for 20 years, and we're projected to win 7 or 8 games. But I'm not even sure that matters anymore because we've got this NIL, which was problematic 2 hours ago, and maybe even more so now. What does it mean that everybody gets paid, and how to legislate that? So I guess what I'm saying is that, we've got this 2025 class that's rated number 3. I don't even have much confidence we can sign those kids unless all the tumblers click in on the lock, and the lock is apparently on a treasure chest of money. So I guess my question, I'll put it this way. What is the reason, or what are the reasons for some kid to go to USC versus going anywhere else? That's my question.
Great question, Gary, but I will tell you right away, where do I start? You can start in a million places. Look at if you're a star like Caleb Williams. Obviously you can get brand deals anywhere across the country, but when you want to be on the biggest stage in one of the biggest markets, LA is the place to be. Also, I'll tell you what, those Instagram photos that Caleb and Bear Alexander have been putting up with them sitting, on the LA skyline, sitting on the beach, things like that. There's plenty of reasons to come to SC, the tradition. But I'm gonna say this: the biggest reason why I think that the 2025 class is gonna be coming to SC is now that everything's kind of settling down, everyone's gonna get paid. Now it's gonna come down to which programs are gonna get me to the NFL, and this staff is all about development. And I think that that's where the staff and this elite staff, especially on defense, that's been put together by Lincoln Riley, is going to pay its dividends. Matt, your thoughts on why are they going to come to SC?
Well, Gary, I'm torn. Last week it was Kansas is flat. This week, no reward for a missing husband. I mean, you come up with the goods every week here. I'm trying to keep up with this tangled, thorny web of interconnected issues. And one of the things to note about this proposed NCAA settlement, and of course the judge still has to approve this settlement, so it's not final. I mean, obviously, it's likely, but it's not final. But there's still more pending antitrust legislation floating around. There's an issue with the NLRB, the National Labor Relations Board, in terms of fighting the NCAA in terms of whether athletes are classified as school employees. Lots of jump balls, Gary, and everyone else watching here at the Voice of College Football. Lots of jump balls still in the air that are going to affect this and other related matters. So, Gary, I would be lying if I told you, I know how the dominoes are going to fall and then how this is all going to play out. I think the one thing we can all agree on, the one thing that seems pretty clear, is just that the NCAA keeps losing ground and losing ground and losing ground. It has less of a footing here. Its position continues to get eroded. And, here's the concerning thing. There's no one minding the store, right? There's no commissioner of college sports. There's no commissioner of college football. There's no central legislating, regulating presence that's kind of trying to make things uniform across the industry. Now, one thing that this settlement is going to do, at least to a degree, and you've heard commentators say it, I'm sure, over the past 24 hours, this is bringing revenue sharing. It's like an NFL pro sports league model to college football. But how much revenue is going to be shared? And you're still going to have the NIL collectives. So, just how much of a level playing field do we have? Some revenue is going to be shared, but not all of it, right? How is that all going to work? And so with no regulation occurring, it's still hard for administrators, athletic directors to see what the path is in terms of, how we do this the right way. There might not be a right way. It could just be, hey, let's stake out ground, let's stake out territory first. It's really just hard to see through this tangled web of different competing stories and pending litigation. Aside from this settlement, one of the intriguing things that I've seen mentioned, Andy Staples did his podcast at On3 Sports, and one thing he and his guest, a reporter from On3, talked about was that you might now see corporate sponsorship of sports. Like you're just going to see, and at USC, like we love the classic traditional USC uniform. Like you don't put anything on it. It has to remain virgin territory. It's sacred. Like, and I agree, but like we might see patches for companies, put on a shoulder pad, put on the front of the chest, for a fee, and like we might be getting into, a college football game might look like a European rugby or Australian rules football, where you just have all these sponsorship patches, and again, as a traditionalist, and I know Adam Lamparello, a few other of the people who watch us regularly, like they're traditionalists too. So like I'm with you guys. Like it makes me sick. But if that's what USC has to do to get top dollar players, recruits, portal prospects, if that's how the game is played, well, like you're not going to not do it, right? You're not going to avoid it. You're going to swallow hard, and you're going to have to put a commercial patch on these gorgeous classic USC Cardinal and gold uniforms. There are going to be things that schools are going to do, and USC is just going to have to jump in the pool with everyone else.
Well, you might have. I mean, when I was living in England for years, I watched Premiership soccer, and they literally had, on their jerseys, basically right in the front. It's not the team logo that's up in the corner here somewhere. The branding is right across the front of their chest. So, I mean, I hope that's not where we go with this. I would like your idea better with patches here or there. Maybe a small patch on the back of the helmet, but definitely not to completely sell this thing out. One thing I found interesting though is somewhere snuck in that article they talked about that going forward, like you said, Matt, there'd be the revenue sharing about $20 million per school. I don't know how they break that up. Do you pay everybody equally? Right? Is that an equal $235,000 share each to each one of the 85 scholarship players? How is that? What's that going to do to the locker room? Is that going to be another detail that programs are going to have to navigate for themselves, figure out what's going to go on? Do you pay the offense more? Do you pay the defensive tackles, cornerbacks, quarterbacks, more money than you're going to pay your long snapper? I mean, how is all of this stuff going to flesh itself out? Again, as always, we've seen through the last couple of years, we're just going to have to watch and see what happens. Again, lots to talk about. Not sure if it'll be the best thing for college football, but we will have a lot to discuss over the next couple of years, Gary. Anything else to add?
Well, I am a traditionalist, as you well know by now, and I align with Adam on this. But you know what? I'm just aware of enough to realize that you cannot fight this tsunami that's coming. And you said earlier, Matt, nobody's in charge. Well, I can tell you who I think's in charge right now. As a former lawyer, I think the lawyers are in charge, because every little crevice and every little wrinkle is going to be attacked by the lawyers. You asked about the idea, well, how do we pay these players? Oh, don't get me wrong for a minute. The lawyers are going to be hurt on this. It's going to be more litigation upon more litigation. But in any case, I should have been born a long time ago and died a happy man in 1955. However, I'm still here kicking, and I'm still fighting on. And I still want the best for the Trojans, and I'm trying to find a way to be optimistic, and we'll find a way to make lemonade out of this batch of lemons here. But you guys both said great things, and I thank you for your perspective, and we'll continue to fight on.
Fight on, Gary. Love your calls every week. We'll talk to you next week.